Alright guys, welcome to another Chessworld episode. Today we have a brilliant match with Fischer against Byrne. Match of the 20th century. Be sure to stick around. If you like the content, subscribe to YouTube channel. And let's go. Let's go. Match starts with the move knight to f3. Red the opening is on the board. We have knight to f6, c4, g6, knight to c3, bishop to g7, and d4, grabbing some space in the center. We have castles and bishop to f4. Now we have d5. With d5 we transpose into the ground full defense. Queen to b3, fortifying c4 pawn. D takes c4, queen takes c4, and c6, restricting white pieces from accessing b5 and d5 square. e4, Byrne is taking the center. Knight b to d7, rook to d1, activating the rook. Knight to b6, putting pressure on the queen. Queen to c5, and bishop to g4, pinning the knight. And now we have crucial mistake of the game. First one for Byrne, it's bishop to g5. Byrne is remaneuvering his pieces while his king is still wide open in the center. And that's just asking for trouble. So what happens? Knight to a4. It seems like a knight sack, but in this position knight can't take knight because if e4 pawn would hang with tempo on the queen, and then the black bishop would also fall because it's defended with knight that is pinned. So we have queen to a3, knight takes c3, b takes c3. Knight is free now to capture in the center. We have knight takes c4, and the bishop takes c7 with a double attack on the rook and queen. So queen has to move, queen to b6, and now we have a bishop to c4. White doesn't want to capture a rook because he's in dire need to castle and move king out of the center. If he captured were to occur, black would recapture with bishop attacking queen, gaining tempo, and following with rook to e8 move. That could be very dangerous. So Byrne just develops his light square bishop. Let's see what happens next. We have a brilliant tactic, knight takes c3. If queen takes knight, rook is coming to e-file, pinning the bishop and practically winning the game. So we have a bishop to c5, counter-attacking black queen. And now rook f2 e8 with a check. King slides out of the way. And now we have a brilliant tactic that Fischer found. I will give you a couple of seconds, try to find it. You can stop the video. I'll take a sip of coffee. And Fischer in this position plays bishop to e6, hanging the queen. Unbelievable move by Fischer. Just unbelievable. And the Byrne doesn't have anything better than just to capture the queen. Although engine says it's blunder, but what you gonna do? And now Fischer takes bishop with check. King have to move to g1. We have knight e2 check. Now we are in a windmill. King f1. Knight takes d4 check. King back to g1. Knight to e2 check. King to f1. Knight c3 check. King g1. And now Fischer takes on b6, revealing the attack on the queen, while the white's rook is still under attack by the knight. So queen has to move, queen to b4, and now rook to a4, activating the rook and attacking the queen. We have queen takes on b6, but now knight takes rook, and h3. And after all is said and done, Fischer have two bishop, two rooks, and a knight against a queen, one knight, and one terrible passive bishop. Not to mention he is 2 pawns up, so he's in a much better position. According to the engines, this is plus 10 for Fischer. So let's see how he transforms his advantage into the win. We have rook takes a2, king to h2, and now knight takes f2, but the Byrne rook is finally untangled. and rook comes to e1, offering trade of rooks. Fischer gladly accepts. There is it's better for Fischer to trade when he has so the Byrne has a lot less chances to attack him. So we Byrne throw in between check, queen to d8. A bishop blocks. Knight takes rook. And now we have bishop to d5. Now Fischer is repositioning his bishop to target the weak g2 pawn. Let's see what happens next. A knight to f3. Somehow blocking that weakness. Knight to e4. And queen to b8, attacking the b pawn. But now we have b5. Now the b pawn is starting to march. We have h4. h5, not allowing Byrne to create weaknesses on Fischer King's side. And knight to e5, centralizing the knight. We have g7, unpinning the bishop. King to g7, unpinning the bishop. King to g1. Now we have bishop to c5, check. And king has to go to f1. Problem with going to h2 is that there are some nasty tactics with bishop on d6, pinning the knight and attacking queen at the same time. So king f1. And now we have a knight to g3 check. King to e1. Now we can notice that Fischer has a monstrous pair of bishop, great rook on the 7th rank, and a knight that is perfectly placed. His pieces are beautifully activated, while okay, white's knight is activated on e5 square, but just the knight and queen are too weak to stand against such beautiful placed pieces of Fischer. Okay, so we have now we have bishop to b4 check, king to d1, bishop b3 check, king to c1, knight e2 check, king to b1, knight to c3 check, king to c1, and this is the final move of the match. Fischer got to deliver the beautiful checkmate pattern here, as we have seen. And final move of the match is rook to c2 checkmate. You have checkmated with the move bishop to a3 also. He decided to checkmate with rook to c2. And what to say, this was a great game. Definitely the moral of the story is to castle at the right time and not move queen and other pieces a bunch of times early in the game, because you might pay a price. You will probably not play against such a strong player as is Fischer, but this match just demonstrates, if you don't abide the general rules of castling at the right time, the price you would pay. So thank you guys for watching this recap of Fischer brutal match. Hope to see you soon again, and have a good day. Bye bye.